Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Oilers Insider. I'm Tim Montgomery, along with Director of Athletics Jim Givens, and we're looking to give you an update on all things Oiler athletics and preview things that are coming up. And it really is an exciting time, and I know that sounds redundant, but with the crossover and all the things that are in play in regards to postseason, it really is an exciting time here on campus.
No, it sure is, and we are really fortunate to have had the start of the year that we've had. You look at last year and what we accomplished. I think there were a lot of us that thought it was going to take an awfully good effort to top that, and we are. Going into, I know we'll talk about the football playoffs here coming up, but that hasn't happened in quite a long time. So we're ready to go to that, but. Yeah, the crossover, regardless, is always hectic. It's always every hand on deck, and we certainly have the staff that is able to do that and wants to do that, and you see it every event. I mean, we have a good time with it, and to be able to support our student athletes like we do is special in our minds, and it's why we do what we do. Yeah, I'm tired right now.
All right. I know a lot of phone conversations have been going on in the last 24 to 36 hours. So let's go ahead and get into some things. Let's get into our Oiler headlines. You mentioned it, probably at the top of those headline lists. Unfortunately, the Oilers end the regular season on a loss, 23-21. Last-second touchdown by the Tiffin Dragons gives them the win. But to the positive side, it really doesn't affect the postseason at all. Oilers managed to hold on to that 2 seed. And we'll be hosting this coming weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't want to, that's one game we don't want to lose. And I'll tell you, Tiffin was a great football team. I feel like they were one of the most talented teams in our conference. And a couple of teams early on got them and one later in the year. But, our kids played really hard. And to take the ball down the field with the drive that we had to go ahead with 50 seconds left in the football game, that was impressive, and sure, we wanted to come on top of that game and win our conference championship outright. It didn't happen, but I think that if there's solace in that, we're in the playoffs and we're the number 2 seed, which we've never been, and we're playing another week. So I think the guys are excited. I think our fans are excited. It's going to be a really fun week.
Well, and I think worth noting as well, one of the more entertaining football games I've seen in Donnell Stadium in a very long time.
Yeah, no question.
All right, more on that as we go farther through this thing. Let's move on with the headlines. Women's soccer, they get the 1-0 win in the semifinal over Cedarville. That allowed them to avenge an earlier season loss. But unfortunately, in the championship game, fall 3-0 to the host Ashland Eagles.
Yeah, Coach Tom, she does an amazing job. She's a young head coach that has really taken the bull by the horn and done a really good job recruiting. And our girls believe in her, and I know that she believes in our girls. And they always seem to play harder than anybody we play. And that's something, as a former coach, that's just something that I sit and I watch games, and if we lose, it's not because of effort, and that's a testament to Coach Tom and her staff and what she does on a daily basis, and it's a testament to our kids and how hard they work.
Speaking of the men's side of things, or looking at the men's side, and speaking of PKs, they get to move on in the tournament with a PK's win over Thomas More. It was a nice win by them, but then they ran into a little bit of buzzsaw in the Tiffin Dragons.
Yeah. In regards to the Thomas More game here, that's probably, I don't remember many soccer games more exciting than that game. It had about everything. It was very physical. The weather, the few days prior to, created kind of a mess on the field, and it actually held up really well. And our kids, they battled. They were not going to be intimidated and end up winning in PKs. And now you're right, Tiffin is, they're the cream of the crop in men's soccer. They have been for some time in our conference. And we we played hard. Our last home game was against Tiffin, and we tied.
Right.
And that was a very physical game, and we just didn't get, we didn't get a lot of good, really clear scoring opportunities, which is a testament to Tiffin. And then in the semifinals at the tournament, they just went to a different level and turned it on, and you kind of felt it after they scored the first goal that they were on our side for 85 to 90% of the
Right.
time, and we just knew that it was a matter of time. And again, as is the case with the women, the men, their effort was, they gave everything that they had. So really proud they definitely weren't expected to get there,
Right.
and they made it to the semifinals. So proud of them for doing that.
Volleyball closes out the regular season with a couple of home matches last Friday and Saturday. Friday, they get the win over Northwood, straight sets, the 8th consecutive win by straight sets, which to me is a phenomenal stat. But then it was an exciting, we keep on coming back to exciting. They dropped to Hillsdale on Saturday 3-2, and even more dramatic, they found themselves down 2-0. They battled back to get it to 2-2, but then not able to finish things off in that 5th.
Yeah, I don't think people, maybe that don't follow volleyball as much, they don't understand how difficult that streak of winning in straight sets is. It's very, very difficult, and something the girls need to be proud of. The Hillsdale game, they got down, and I'm like, holy, I hadn't seen that at all this year. None of us had seen that. And it wasn't because we were playing necessarily that bad. I think Hillsdale, this is a rival. Coaches are very good friends. So I think that our girls were ready to play. I think Hillsdale caught them a little bit off guard by quality of play. I don't know that we played the best. I didn't look at stats, to be honest with you, so I'm not sure what our hitting percentage is and that type of thing. But Hillsdale took it to us. But, geez, after we came back and won that second or fourth game, I think we're going to win this. And wouldn't you know it, they came out and got into a really kind of a big hole. They tried to fight back.
Certainly did.
That if it would have went the full set,
yeah,
we might have had a chance. We just ran out of time. So they had a great run there, and the season's not over. There's still hope that we can get into the national tournament. We hope that we have a good showing. We have to have a good showing in the tournament to do that. And I think the girls are ready. They're out here practicing right now really hard. And one thing about our girls is, they're very good at putting that type of a loss behind them. They're just going to come out the next day and get after it. And, that's a testament to Coach Kochagoff and his staff and what the girls do each day.
Cross country, as we talked about, closed out the season in regionals, a solid performance, and a nice way to wrap up the season for them.
Yeah, Coach Weimer does a fabulous job with both the guys and the girls, and I couldn't ask any more of him, especially in what he's been through very recently with the passing of his father. But he is everything that you want in a head coach, and the kids respect him. And they run really, really hard for them. They are true athletes, and they are a great bunch.
Well, and you're out there, in some ways it's like wrestling, where you're really out there on an island, and the only thing to really push you is you at the end of the day, and I think that's what you're talking about. It takes a special kind of an athlete to do that. Women's tennis and golf both go into the winter break. Just as that was comes down, women ranked 4th in the final WGCA poll, and reflects another tremendous fall season for them.
Yeah, Coach Westmeyer does a fantastic job. He puts them in a great position by some of the matches that he's played. He's really tried to give them quality opponents that's going to get them ready for our conference and as well as going deep in the national tournament, because that's something that now for us in our program, which until very, very recently, that wasn't something that was kind of in the picture. Coach Westmeyer has brought that to the table, and we're very thankful to that. And the young men and the women are just fabulous kids. Fabulous kids.
Winter sports has gotten into swing, as we kind of alluded to or kind of teased at last time on the program. We are there now. Wrestling off to a good start and hosted the Findlay Open this past weekend.
Yeah, we had football, so I came from football, went to volleyball, went over to wrestling, and as soon as I stepped into wrestling, I'm like, it's here. Because if you haven't stepped into a 400 student athlete wrestling tournament, it's something that you might remember for a while. They are unbelievable athletes. I know that I would never, ever even consider walking onto that mat because it's that different. They are some of the hardest working student athletes that we have that sometimes go a little bit unnoticed because it's a different sport in that it's a very contained sport.
We're going to talk more about them in another segment here coming up. Finish things out here. Men's and women's basketball got off to a start, both doing the crossovers. The women with the GLIAC, the men with the GLVC, both 2-0.
Yeah, great start, right? Expectations are high for both. I think we all know that. We're not going to run from that. That's what we want. I know Coach Duran and Coach Ernst, if expectations aren't high, then they feel like they're not doing their job. And I think that on the men's side, Coach Ernst had those guys ready to play early, and they needed to because of the quality of opponent. And I know that Coach Duran, whenever you go take that trip, it's difficult because that's a trip that we don't make a lot. So I know that
not anymore.
Yeah, right. I know she was happy to get 2 W's, and I think they've set themselves up well for a very, very good start.
As I said, we're going to get more into them later, along with swimming and diving. And swimming and diving is another one of those that's a little bit different. We're going to talk, like I said, in more detail. It's not so much about winning. It's about times and qualifying and getting ready for that goal that's at the end of the season. And certainly you want to win along the way because that helps you to those. But really off to some great starts here with a couple of meets at home. A lot of people punching their tickets, so to speak.
Yeah, that's what it's about. That's what they swim for, and you're exactly right. Of course, we want to win the conference, and we have about every year, and hopefully that streak continues. But they're an amazing group. They're here at 5:30 every morning. They're here from 5:30 until 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. They have swim school that they do after that. That pool is pretty active. Coach Diego and Danielle do a wonderful job managing that, and our kids are from everywhere, many countries, and they are unbelievable in what they do. And he does an amazing job of keeping them on task, and I don't know that people realize the regimen that swimmers have to go through in order to maintain their competitiveness. It is a process, and if that process deviates at all or something happens that interrupts that, there's some panic. But they always seem to come back and find their way, and that's because of Diego and Danielle. So they're off to a great start. I've got to see them twice already, so very proud of what they've done so far, and I know there's going to be some big things.
All right, so that wraps up the headlines. Good look at what's going around. We're going to take our first break here in just a moment, and we come back, we're going to take a deeper dive on football in the postseason and what's ahead when we return on Oilers Insider.
You're watching UFTV. The television branch of Pulse Media at the University of Findlay streams the arts, athletics, and educational content to viewers across campus and the world via our website, pulse.findlay.edu, and our YouTube channel at UFTV Findlay. Our staff of UF students, led by a pair of television industry professionals, also broadcasts Oilers athletics on Flow College and now features partnerships with the Flag City Sluggers and WOSN.
Touchdown Oilers!
Whether simply enjoying our content or searching for someone to produce your own, UFTV has you covered. If you'd like to work with us as either a client or as a UF student employee, reach out by visiting pulse.findlay.edu and navigating to the TV tab, UFTV, bringing education and entertainment to the Findlay community and beyond.
Welcome back to more Oilers Insider. Tim Montgomery, Jim Givens. Time to take a deeper dive, and let's go into a deeper dive on this football season. Conference co-championship with Ashland. And let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that's an interesting thing. A lot of people ask. The GMAC made a conscious decision not to do tiebreakers in these situations, that there would just be co-champs. Talk a little bit about that thought process.
Yeah, I know. I don't really know how I feel. I think, the traditionalist in me says, we won head-to-head against Ashland, so that should make us the outright champs. But for one reason or another, I think our conference is pretty set on what they have put in place, and there hasn't been a lot of pushback, I think, from us as ADs. I think there will be eventually, but I think nonetheless we're very excited for our football program. Coach Allen has worked extremely hard. He's built something pretty special here, and that conference championship is always a huge goal of ours at the end of the year for that automatic qualifier. And that's the other piece too, right? I mean, in terms of the conference, we were the AQ of our region, of our conference, because we won the head-to-head against Ashland. So that should tell you a little bit too. But we would have loved to win that last game and just made it outright, but didn't happen. We still got a piece of it, and we're going to be proud of that and celebrate that.
Well, and everything has its plus and minus, right? Because obviously the downside is, sure, you'd like to have that easy, you're the champion, but the other side is it's worked in our favor in other situations, and you get to recognize more athletes, more teams as being champs, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, I think.
No, I agree. I mean, I again, because I'm old, I still think there is value in that. Hey, man, you play to win. You play to win the conference championship, and if you lose, you lose. So but that's just me.
Well, if you're old, that means I'm old too. So anyways, so let's get back to it. You mentioned a moment ago Coach Allen and the great job this season. And I don't want to lose the fact the adversity that this team has overcome. Injury bugs hit, and I know everybody has to deal with injuries, but hit this offense pretty significantly. There was a lot of scrambling and changing and adjusting. I mean, the entire offensive system really had to adjust at one point. And to get to 10-1 with that, it says a lot about the coaching staff as a whole.
It does, and we're fortunate. You and I, we get to see that, right? People on the outside, our fans, don't necessarily know all of what's going on and what's happened. They may say, hey, why isn't number 11 playing? Or, something like that. It's happened a lot. Coach Allen's in my office 4 times a week in the morning, and we've talked a lot about injuries and making adjustments and next man up and all those cliches that you hear coaches talk about. He brings that to the table, and that's what makes Coach Allen and his staff so good. They're able to overcome that, and it's how they recruit. They get it. They prepare the guys mentally, physically, and they truly do have that next man up mentality, and that's what it takes to be a champion.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about the playoff game, and this is a bit of a sore subject, I know, but that's okay. Let's talk about logistics. I mean, before we did this, you and Kyle were on a conference call and talking about all the wherefores that go into this process, and it's a lot of hassle, it's a lot of work, but it's that good kind of work that is for a good reason.
Yeah, it's why we play the games, and we talk and we preach about the championship experience for all of our student athletes, and here you go. And this is, now you're in it now. You want it, here it is. And that it goes for all of us, the coaching staff, the kids, the administrative staff. There's a lot to it. You just heard me on a phone call. It's nonstop for hopefully for the next month.
Right.
To be honest with you, I'm fortunate enough that fortunate or unfortunate, I'm on the National Football Committee, so I see it from even a different level, and people really have no idea what goes into putting a tournament or a championship like this on. It's a very, very big undertaking. It ends in Dallas, Texas on December 21st. We just got great news today that the semifinals and the finals are both going to be on ESPN2. Yeah, which is really great news. We were a little bit worried about that as a committee, but ESPN came through for us, and so we're excited about that. But logistically, it's a lot. We're very fortunate that we had a year where we get to host. So our kids get to eat, sleep at home, or in their own beds, and that gives us an advantage, I feel like. So proud of the football guys, our staff, to be able to host the game. It's really fun. It hasn't happened in a long time.
Certainly is a new chapter. Certainly we had a couple of years where we take the trips to Shepherd and then the one to Assumption as well. But now to have everybody have to, or at least have somebody have to come to us,
Yes.
And you get your home crowd, all those things. And we obviously want to encourage people, come on out.
Right. No doubt. I mean, tickets go on sale tomorrow morning. Just go to our website, and they will be there, and we are hoping for another great crowd. The Tiffin game was an unbelievable crowd.
It was
on both
amazing.
sides.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really, that's college football. So we're hoping for that this weekend.
It was great because you did see students, but you also saw, as you're pointing out, saw community members, saw a ton of alumni there present as well, making their presence known. And like you said, like to see more of that.
Yes.
All right. Let's take another break. When we come back, we're going to go a little deeper dive into winter sports, talk a little bit more about basketball and wrestling along the way, and swimming. And this is Oilers Insider.
The environmental health, safety, and sustainability field is growing rapidly, with opportunities in safety, environmental protection, sustainability, policy, worker safety, public health, and emergency response. EHSS graduates from the University of Findlay have gone on to work for Fortune 500 companies across the United States, along with federal and local agencies, to assist and lead in compliance, training, mitigation strategies, and innovative sustainability achievements. If you want to make a difference in the environment or any of these areas, this program will give you the knowledge, network, and opportunities to do so. Learn how you can be the voice for change in an evolving and critical industry by visiting finley.edu/EHSS or uFindlayEHSS on Instagram.
Welcome back to Oilers Insider. Tim Montgomery, Jim Givens. Time to take our deeper dive, and we're going to take a deeper dive into winter sports as a whole. We kind of touched on it in the headlines there a little bit, but the crossovers. Let's talk a little bit about those. Kind of a unique situation, and I know they're a valuable situation that both of our head coaches really appreciate.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it gives us an opportunity to, maybe get outside of our region a little bit. It gets us from a scheduling perspective. It helps us because those are guaranteed games. We are now familiar with most of those schools, and from a competitive perspective, they're good, both on the men's and women's side. So that's very good openers for our women and our men. And this past weekend, I think the guys. They came out and they played really well. We didn't get to watch it, but obviously we were following it during all of our other events, and they scored a few more points than they're used to scoring. I think that getting a couple of guys that have been hurt back with the style of play that we are continuing to play has allowed us to free some of the guys up, and it certainly is fun to watch. The women, I think they improved a lot last year. I think they've taken strides already this year. I think their expectations are much higher for this group, and I think that they're challenging them every day in practice, and I think that that's gonna bring some good results, I think.
Let's do a little follow-up on the women. Of course, you lose an all-time great Oiler on the women's side, Kate Ellis, as she graduates. And to me, there was some symmetry to Kayla Brown being recognized in Hall of Fame in the same year that this kind of happens, because I thought, very similar kind of players with that. So you're in a transition now, and Coach Duran has been building up, I think, for this with the recruiting and getting the right players in position, and off to, as you say, a great start by doing that.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more balance this year. You know, I mean, I want to say that we certainly have tried to go inside and feed the post, kick it out. You know, we're going to miss a couple of those three-point shooters that we lost last year, but I think that they've been replaced. I think there are some gals that have grown up in the program, and they're ready to shine. And you know, underneath, I think we're as stable as we've ever been, and it's gonna be a big year.
Meanwhile, on the men's side, preseason picked #1, already ranked in the top 25 in the nation as far as things go. Good reason. Only one player from last year's team is not back, and the players who've been kind of waiting in the wings. I mean, Coach Ernst is like stocking up talent like, you know, a woodpile right now.
Well, we hope so, and obviously Charlie and Coach Shardo, they do a great job in recruiting. They spend a lot of time. They know that that's their lifeblood, right? So they make that a priority. I feel like our guys, you know, it's one of those where if we get off to a good start, that's going to help us a lot. This is a tough conference in basketball. There's 4 or 5 teams that any given night, you know, it could get ugly. And you know, I don't think Coach Ernst is worried about the preseason where we were ranked or anything like that, because of the fact that we are a very deep conference, and any night can be a tough one.
Let's also transition into wrestling. It's getting a little more detail with that. We mentioned it earlier. Competed at Michigan State, then they dominated a dual match with KWC, and then, as we just talked about, most recently hosted the Findlay Open. Some solid performances by the Roughnecks, highlighted by Nate Knowlton and Gary Nilsson's wins at 133 and 155, and then Julian Badou's runner-up finish at 285. Certainly talks about the bright future that this team has going forward.
No, yeah, you're right, and you know, Coach Nelson, the time that he spends recruiting is starting to pay off. He will tell you that the last couple of years he's been a little bit disappointed in results, but he's also taken a group and has really molded them to kind of his personality, and that's really important, especially in the sport of wrestling. And as I mentioned, Sean still gets on the mat with them, and they respect him, and they will run through a wall. They would literally try to run through a wall for Coach Nelson, and you know, that says a lot for him. It says a lot for our program, and we've got 4 or 5 guys right now that, you know, at the end of the day, the end of their season could be really, really good.
Well, then we already talked about swimming and punching the tickets, and I'm always amazed at the numbers that come out in the early going, but swimming triggered something for me. So I was right along with you guys. I was out of the stadium early, and then we came back over here, and I came back to realize that parking was going to be a problem, because I forgot not only did we have volleyball and a potential conference championship kind of situation, you had a swim meet going on at the same time, and then 150 yards away you had the Findlay Open going on. Incredible logistics for you and your staff to pull that kind of stuff off.
Yeah, you're right. We spend a lot of time making sure that we have all of our bases covered, and you know, that makes it really fun. And you know, we have great student athletes. We have so many of our student athletes that help. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do a lot. And they always have smiles on their face. They love helping. So we don't worry about that part too much. We just hope that fans are able to come. They're able to get a place to park. They're able to come to the venue and watch. And enjoy our student athletes and the opposing team as well.
I want to go right into athletic director's corner here, and this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. You and I in private talk about this quite a bit, and the extra things that go into being a student athlete. We talk all the time. Certainly, if somebody comes to the University of Findlay, we want them to be a good student. That's your main purpose in coming here, is to get an education. And obviously, if you come here to compete, we want you to be your best as an athlete. But I think the thing, and I'm not trying to say anybody else doesn't, but I think the thing that Findlay does exceptionally well, and I'm proud of as an alumni of this university, is that third component of being a good citizen. It's a strong emphasis, and we see it play out all the time by the way these student athletes get out into this community and contribute.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, Tim. I mean, it's and I think it's one of those things that maybe gets lost in the athletic success that we have, because let's face it, the landscape in our world has changed, and the landscape of our society has changed. So it's all about the win. Well, we have a lot more significant wins under our belt that don't involve athletics, the actual sport. We talk to our student athletes about adding value. That is a big piece to what we do. We talk about servant leadership a lot, right? I mean, that is certainly a pillar of our athletic department. And I think if you take a look at what our student athletes do, other than just what they do for their sport, it's 100% incredible. The number of hours that these kids spend doing community service, and you have a list that you'll talk through. It is just incredible. But not only do they do it, they don't complain. They do it with a smile on their face. They have an amazing time, and they connect. And they connect with not only the people that are putting on the events, but the people that are in the events. And it's so fun to see. To see the faces of our student athletes when they're doing one of those events, that's why we do what we do. And sometimes that's lost.
Well, I'm going to highlight some, and I'm going to miss a ton. So I'm going to say on the front side, there is much, much more than what we're going to talk about. But worth noting, Coach Allen in the preseason nominated for part of the All-State Good Works team, and with good reason. I mean, this is his program. He and his program volunteer Miracle League every spring. And as a person involved in that program, I can tell you it's exactly what you talk about. They are laughing and smiling, and they are making the day of those special athletes.
Sometimes it's more fun to watch the student
Oh my
athletes
goodness,
than
it is amazing, and the relationships, and Coach Allen and the coaching staff, players go out of their way to get to know the names of the athletes, and it makes them feel special. And I know they've also been involved with the flag football program, the Upward Flag football program. Did security at the Halloween parade, which in Findlay is a big deal. You don't want to mess around with that too much. But you can also throw out there, I mentioned Miracle League, both baseball and softball. They volunteer in the fall. The football volunteers in the spring. Men's basketball has been out there as before. I know men's soccer gets involved with the Children's Mentoring Connection quite a bit, does some fundraising with them. You got athletes that also help out with Gliding Stars and Special Olympics in all kinds of different capacities. I mean, it really is overwhelming to see them give back. And I think that's also part of the reason why you see so many alumni stay in the area, because they feel connected.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is, we talk about family quite a bit. I know coaches probably talk about it a little more within their program, but that's truly what we are. And we talk to them as their family, and we laugh, we cry. I mean, if people think that there aren't bad times too, they're mistaken. There are a lot of bad times, and how we handle that as coaches, as administrators, that oftentimes dictates on how that student athlete might move forward. But we try to, as much as possible, make sure that our students understand the importance of giving back to the community that you're in, and it will pay dividends, great dividends, later on in life.
Well, and on top of that, you have the SAC committee overall, right? That is greatly involved in that. I know they do a lot with Make-A-Wish and other programs as well, and that there's a committee dedicated to that cause. And then I also like that committee works with other universities' committee to do things in even a broader reach.
Right. I'm speaking to them at 7 o'clock tonight, actually, so yeah.
Well, we better hurry up and finish this up. All right, we're going to take one last break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with what's ahead in the next couple of weeks. This is Oilers Insider.
The University of Findlay Department of Media and Communication offers 3 majors: journalism and digital media, public relations, and organizational communication. Comm majors have the opportunity to be leaders in our on-campus media outlets, including UFTV, 88.3 WLFC, and Pulse News, our award-winning student newspaper. Students can join the Pulse Media Club and participate in a number of digital media production events and experiences. Whether it's shooting and editing video, creating PR campaigns, crafting social media strategy, or writing in-depth news stories, our goal is to help students become great storytellers. Alumni of our department work in a variety of communication careers, including news anchor and reporter, copy editor and page designer, digital marketing manager, social media community management specialist, and many more. You can find more about how to get on the path to success at findlay.edu/communication. It's where you can develop meaningful lives and productive careers.
Welcome back to Oilers Insider. Time to wrap things up with a look ahead, and a lot of things going on at the time of this recording. I'm going to refer to it being tomorrow, but who knows when you're going to get to see it. But we're going to have volleyball action, conference quarterfinal action, playing host here as Thomas More comes in.
Yeah, it's the first stop sign at our on our road to moving forward in the tournament, and I hope that it's a good game or a good match. Excuse me. I think that our girls are ready. They had a great practice today. Their spirits are high, even though they're coming off of that loss against Hillsdale. I think their Coach Rogoff has them focused, and I would expect us to play really well.
Minnesota State coming up this weekend, and we've talked quite a bit about that. Don't think we need to go a whole lot more, but I think the other thing to keep in mind is with that 2 seed, at least for the foreseeable future, you keep winning, you keep bringing other teams into Donnell Stadium.
Yeah, that's correct, and I think that's something that is going to drive our guys, and certainly I know Coach Allen has them ready to play already, and it's just going to be a matter of who executes the best.
Men's and women's open up the home part of the schedule. Matter of fact, they go into a block where they're home for quite a bit here. Get things going. Ferris State on the men's side, and I don't want to go into details about it, but Ferris State, a program always elite, but in a lot of transition right now. The Oilers men will be facing them, and then Gannon and Wayne State and Bluffton all within these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you take those first 3, and you remember, you go back to the GLIAC days.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, those were
hard days.
Those were very, very difficult.
But good days.
That's exactly right. And we owe Ferris for the last couple of years. To be honest with you, so I think that our guys are going to be ready here. And Croy's a special place, as we all know. So I think they're excited about it, and we all are excited about it. They're looking forward to big things this year, I think. So.
On the women's side, they're playing host to a very high-powered offensive juggernaut in Seton Hill. They come in, then we'll see Edinburgh, and then you talk about the old GLIAC days, Grand Valley.
Yeah, they're Seton Hill. First of all, they're going to throw it up. If you like exciting brand,
don't blink.
It's like watching our guys. They're up and down, and they throw it up. And so we're going to have to be disciplined, and I think Coach Durand will have them ready to play. It's always good to see teams like Grand Valley come in, and we've been competitive with them, and they've been really, really good. And I think they're really, really good this year as well.
And swimming already on a little bit of a vacation here, a little bit of hiatus over the holidays, but they'll be back in action early in December. So something to look forward to there. But as always, things to come and see, Oiler teams to root on. Absolutely.
We encourage you to get out, no matter if tickets, stop in. We'll always open up for anybody that wants to come to our games, and you know, the kids deserve the support, and we certainly appreciate the support that this community has given. So a lot of exciting things going on right now. So
All right, go Oilers.
that's right. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks to Jim Givens, as always, for coming along. I'm Tim Montgomery. This has been Oilers Insider.